In one corner, Joey Gallo. This Las Vegas slugger is known to deliver some of the longest home runs in the game today.
And that ball's hit well.
Demolishing baseballs with a power punch. In the other corner, Chris Davis. This Californian has landed plenty of haymakers against the Rangers.
Into the seats. Davis has just hit a two-run homer.
Showing off his heavy hands.
Chris Davis, that one is gone.
This home run duel is a heavyweight title bout.
Yes, the Oakland Coliseum right now, one of the hot spots in Major League Baseball. And Rangers baseball presented by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light, done right. Rangers getting ready for the opener of a series here in Oakland against a red-hot Oakland Athletics team bidding for a division title. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you here tonight. I'm Dave Raymond alongside Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve. And in Oakland, this is an Oakland team that right now probably the top topic all around Major League Baseball. But the Rangers have played very well lately in division.
They have. They played well against the West. They played well, period. The young players are developing. They're scoring a lot of runs. Against the West in the last 10 games, they've gone 8-2. They're scoring more than 7 runs a game. They're hitting over 300. They swept 3 from the Astros, 2 out of 3 from Seattle, and 3 out of 4 from the Angels. So the young players are playing well. It's been all about development, and you just love the way the team is developing right along with the young players.
Yeah, so there have been a lot of highlights lately for the Rangers and plenty of great developing stories for them. But this is kind of an interesting test against Oakland because, as we point out, this is a team playing excellent baseball now and for an extended period of time.
It really has been. At one point this season, the A's were 34-36, kind of mired in mediocrity. But since then, they've gone 40-14. They've had a nice, solid combination of hitting and pitching. Their 74 wins, 1 short of their total from 2017. When you talk about the A's, you have to talk about Chris Davis. He drives the offense. There's no doubt about that. And he drives the offense against the Rangers. 24 home runs in the last 3 years. That's the most by any player against any team. 15 home runs since the All-Star break. That's the most in Major League Baseball. He's also hit 121 home runs in the last 3 years. That's the most in Major League Baseball. More than Stanton, more than Judge, more than anybody else. Yesterday, he hit 2 home runs against Justin Verlander, one of them a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to right field. So he's a great power hitter. Not the most popular one because people don't know as much about him, but he's right up there.
Yeah, that was going to be my point. I think the most amazing thing about him is how little people talk about Chris Davis because he is one heck of a ball player. As Rangers fans very well know. Well, one guy who is hopefully going to try and stop him tonight, that will be Bartolo Colon. And of course, Bartolo, a couple of landmark wins lately. We put him in our spotlight when we come back. Back here in the East Bay, ready to go. Opening game of this 3-game series, Rangers and A's. And we teased our Shiner Light Bond spotlight as we went to break. It is Bartolo Colon, whose last 2 starts, well, he's gotten the victory.
And it's been victory number 246 and number 247. He beat Seattle, he beat Arizona. 246 made him the all-time winningest pitcher from Latin America. His 247 wins, that leads all active Major League pitchers. Second, CC Sabathia with 244.
Earlier this year, we saw Bartolo here in Oakland, and it was a good start. He went 6 strong innings, give up a run on 7 hits, and you can see he's pitched well here his entire career. An ERA sub-3. Of course, was in Oakland A for a couple of seasons as well, for a little more. I'm Bartolo. Let's check in with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, of course, Bartolo Colon did not pitch yesterday because of back spasms. Mike Minor didn't pitch Friday because of back tightness. So a little bit of a change in the pitching rotation. Colon will go today, but when I asked Jeff Bannister how he's feeling, he said, well, no one's 100% at this time of the year. So how far he can go or how he's feeling will wait to be seen. Colon will start tonight, but Drew Hutchison will be available in case they need him. Then Ariel Jurado will be tomorrow, and then they're hopeful Mike Minor can go on Wednesday. He's feeling better each day. After that, though, it is uncertain. They could use Hutchison in there to start if they don't have to use him in this series. But Matt Moore, guys, not available tonight, so it'll have to be Hutchison if Colon can't go far into this game here.
A little bit of juggling lately in this rotation. Thank you, Leslie. As we are set to get this one underway, a cooler evening tonight here in Oakland. Certainly a lot cooler than we're used to back home. Rangers 56 and 70 coming into play today. 20 back of Houston in the division, and I say 20 back of Houston. Oakland was in first place but a day or 2 ago, as we take a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Chu, Odor, Andrus up top, Mazzara, Profar, Gallo in the middle, Guzman, Chirinos, and Drew Robinson rounding it out. First pitch swinging, and Chu fouls off strike 1. Chu, a .285 hitter this year, 20 homers, 57 driven in. So 62 degrees here at game time. Feels like 20. It's amazing how different it feels when you just parachute into the Bay Area this time of year.
At least it's not that windy. It was chilly in San Francisco today because of the wind. So not that windy right now. Just got to dress for it, Dave.
Yeah. Chu comes up empty. The count 1-2. It's very refreshing. I'll say that much. Always is, right? This time of year when you're able to make those West Coast trips, you know, the dog days of summer, and it's rejuvenating. Fires winds it up, and Chu stays alive. 1-2.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the Shiner pitch arsenal for Mike Fiers. Not an overpowering guy with his fastball. He throws 4-seam fastball 41% of the time, and a sinker along with it, slider, changeup, and a curveball. His 3 off-speed pitches, he uses them all about the same. Good repertoire of pitches, and he throws a lot of strikes. Not that one, but he does throw a lot of strikes. One thing we'll see in this game, we'll see 2 pitchers who throw a lot of strikes. Fiers less than 2 walks per 9 innings. Colon about a walk and a half per 9 innings. Colon second in that respect, and Fiers is 7th or 8th.
2-2 and another foul ball. So Chu making him work here.
The Fiers fastball, according to the radar gun, comes in around 90 or 91 miles an hour. But I think his delivery, the way he rocks back and comes straight over the top, probably makes the hitter feel like the ball's coming in much harder than that. You can tell the swings that Chu has taken don't look like swings at a straight 90-mile-an-hour fastball. They look at like swings you might take at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and the reason is because of the deception in the delivery makes it hard to pick it up. When a guy has a easy delivery to pick up the ball, hitting a 95-mile-an-hour fastball can be easier than hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from someone who hides the ball pretty well.
Well, this is all of a sudden now a 9-pitch at bat for Chu. Fires, delivers the full count offering, and make it a 10-pitch at bat. Fires acquired from the Detroit Tigers on August 6th for a couple of players to be named later, or cash considerations. 1-0 with a 2.38 ERA in 2 starts so far with the A's, and his 3-2 pitch. That one is down low, ball 4, so Chu draws the walk.
The A's defense is sponsored by Jack in the Box. Let's take a look at the A's defense. Nick Martini is in left. Ramon Laureano, recently called up from the minor leagues, is in center. Stephen Piscotty's in right. Matt Chapman at third base. Matt Olson at first. Up the middle, Marcus Semien and the veteran Jeff Lowry. And behind the plate, former Ranger and veteran catcher Jonathan Lucroy.
All right, Rougned Odor. Well, man on. That's a great at bat to start the game by Chu.
Yeah, you've got a guy that walks less than 2 batters per 9 innings. Starting the game off, throwing a lot of strikes. Yet Chu not only works a walk, he makes him throw more than 10 pitches to get that walk. I don't think you could be more annoying to a starting pitcher than to have that kind of an at bat with that result.
And Odor, you see his numbers for the year. A very impressive run for him now. Like Oakland, Oakland's been on a great run as a team for an extended period since mid-June. Now Rugi and his run right now that he's on, I mean, you can carve it up, say, oh, the last 2 weeks or 10 games, they've been very good. Or you could go back and go back to the beginning of June and look at what he has accomplished. And the reality is, it is now a sustained run that is putting him among the leaders in the league in pretty much all the offensive categories. 1 and 2 the count. So let's just go back to May 24th. A .310 average. On base percentage of .388 with 14 home runs. All this coming in a 72 game stretch. The walks, maybe of all the numbers, the part that jump out at you if you've been a fan of Odor's or watched his career in his first couple of years, you know that is so much a part of what has meant for this turnaround. Runner goes, pitches high, and a throw down to second in time.
And Jonathan Lucroy made a strong throw, and it had to be a quick, strong throw and an accurate throw to get Chu, who had a pretty good jump. Pretty easy pitch to throw on, up and away like that, a fastball. See Jonathan studying that throw to second base. Chu had a good jump, but look at the throw. Throw is perfect, right on the bag.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy, the former Ranger, delivering against his team here in the first inning.
Yeah, the A's have caught 37 base stealers. That's the most in the American League. They've given up a lot of stolen bases, but they've thrown out a lot too.
So now the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Odor. And strike 3 called. So Fires allows a 10-pitch walk. Gets a caught stealing and then a strikeout of Odor. Just like that, the inning really turns around for him.
Yeah, Fires changed his delivery a little bit on that last pitch. He throws more from a sidearm 3/4 delivery than straight over the top. I don't know if it surprised Rugi or not, but it wasn't that straight over the top delivery. And with that delivery, he's had a hard time getting his fastball down. So maybe he dropped down a little bit just to get the fastball down. And in any event, it was a strike and caught Rugi looking.
So Elvis bounces one on the ground, deep in the hole, short. Long throw for Semien, and a real good dig at first to take care of Andrews. And so A weird top of the first, but Fires puts up a goose egg, and now Bartolo Colon will head out to work. Their starting lineup. Nick Martini leading it off in left field. Matt Chapman, Jed Lowry. Then in the heart of things, the DH, Chris Davis, Matt Olson, Stephen Piscotty in right field. Simeon, Laureano, and Lucroy, the catcher, rounding things out for the A's. All that against Bartolo Colon. 7 wins, 10 losses. And a 5.19 ERA for Colon. And he just misses the outside corner. Scoreless top of the first for the Rangers. And Bartolo nibbles off the inside edge there. It's 1-1. Martini just his 31st game this year. Average at the even 300 for him. And he takes strike 2. Colon's 23rd start of the season. Rangers have also used him a couple of times out of the bullpen. That was earlier this year. And one of his better starts of the year was his first start was here in Oakland. It seems like forever ago. It was the first full week of the regular season when we were last here in Oakland. And a near miss. Count runs full.
Well, Martini will definitely work the count. Bob Melvin, the A's manager, said he's as good as we have working a pitcher, getting good pitches to hit. And a tough out.
This one lined softly up the middle, and right there for it is Andrews, 1 away.
Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Go back to his start on April 2nd, the one Dave was talking about against the A's. When Bartolo's on, he pitches just like you saw right there. A lot of strikes, a lot of ground balls.
Yeah, that was, at the beginning of the season, he got off to such a great start. Seemed like the vast majority of his starts were in that vein, where he would just come out and make it look real simple, get the ground balls. Very efficient innings. And that one in Oakland was a beaut as it goes 1-1 on Matt Chapman. Chapman 276, but 17 home runs this year. And he's got some nice offensive numbers. 363 on base percentage. Among the league leaders in triples. But probably best known for his defense at third. He has been terrific, and he rips that one past third and down into that left field corner. Chapman will cruise to second base. It's his 29th double of the year.
Well, before Bartolo faces Jed Lowry, let's take a look at his pitch arsenal. Throws a lot of fastballs, especially two-seam fastballs. That's his sinker. Altogether, he throws his fastball almost 80% of the time. Other pitches he'll throw, changeup, slider, and every now and then a cutter. Hard hit ball by Chapman. He ripped that ball down the line. His last 27 games, he's really been swinging it. Hitting over 340. That double is his 12th double in 28 games now. He has turned his offensive season around.
So he's out there in scoring position for Jed Lowry, the switch hitting second baseman. Lowry, a guy who, you see his overall numbers for the years, very good. But like Chapman, recently even better. And he had cooled down for a little stretch. But the last 10 games, Lowry hitting .317. A couple of home runs, 4 doubles.
Yeah, he's about as steady as you get for a veteran middle infielder. He's only made 2 errors at second base all season long. Makes all the routine plays. Probably won't make the kind of plays that Rugi makes, going to his left, going to his right. At his stage of his career, doesn't have quite the mobility that Rugi does. But like Rugi, he is very adept at making the routine play. Season's over. He has a chance to hit 40 doubles, 20 home runs, knock in 90 runs.
Takes outside, 2-2. Used to be a shortstop. And there was a stretch there where he would play a year or two here in Oakland. And then get signed or traded to Houston. Play a year or two there, come back to Oakland. And has sort of settled in as a second baseman here in Oakland and been a very, I think to your point, kind of a steadying, calming influence, and a guy who just goes out and produces every day. And he takes inside. It's a full count.
Well, the A's have younger players on their team, and they've got a good blend of first and second year players, really young players who've been established, and then veteran players. And Lowry's one of those veteran players. Jonathan Lucroy would be another. Chris Davis. But Lucroy and Lowry are probably the 2 veterans on this team that have really been around. The young players can lean on.
Lowry works the walk. And so Oakland has a couple of men on. And you were saying earlier, you're talking about 2 guys who do not, very often anyway, give up many walks. Bartolo, 1.5 walks per 9.
They each walk less than 2 per 9, and they've each walked their 1 for this game. Bartolo's had 2 or fewer walks in all 22 starts this year. Now first base was open. You might be a little careful. Lowry, on the other hand, brings up Chris Davis. And I don't think there's a Ranger fan watching the game right now that doesn't know what Chris Davis has done to the Rangers.
He shoots this one foul over to the right side, out of play. For those who maybe don't know, he is our TXU Energy power player to watch. And for good reason. 3-season span. How about 24 home runs for Davis? And when you think about other players in Major League history over a 3-year span, the best, Troy Glaus, 22 home runs. Vladimir used to do a lot of damage against the Rangers, but nobody has done it quite like Chris Davis.
You know, Bartolo was careful to Jed Lowry and walked him. And so the best home run hitter in baseball over the last 3 years comes up, and he just goes right at him with 2 fastballs and jumps ahead in the count.
Davis currently 3rd in the American League in home runs, 2nd with 98 RBIs. He takes outside 1-2. He has 15 of his 36 home runs They have come after the All-Star break, and that is most in the American League since the break. Yeah, those are the overall numbers. Pretty staggering. Gallo would be second in the American League since the All-Star break. Joey has 10. That's impressive. But Davis with 15 is a little bit ridiculous. Chapman at second, Lowry at first, and Bartolo having a little trouble getting comfortable up there.
Well, the A's lost yesterday to the Astros, but Davis had 2 home runs against Justin Verlander, one of them to tie the game to right field. Came on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, Davis could not hold up, and a strikeout is the second out of the inning.
The Rangers defense is delivered to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Joey Gallo, Nomar Mazara on the corners in the outfield. Drew Robertson gets the start at center field. Profar at third base. Ronald Guzman at first base. Elvis and Rugi up the middle, and behind the plate, Robinson Chirinos.
So with 2 away, Matt Olson. I'll look back at Chapman first. Olson's had a real nice season. 23 home runs for him. And he takes on the inside corner for a strike. Olson on a 7-game hitting streak. It turns out that's a career best for him.
The drummer hasn't been here quite as long as the guy in Cleveland. The guy in Cleveland's been here, there, probably 30 or 40 years.
Well, pop up and foul ground, there's a lot of it, and Profar takes advantage. The inning is done. So Oakland leaves a couple, and we'll go to the second inning, no score. It's the Bay Area. I think anything goes. You can sit by the opposing fan. Hey, Rangers and Dodgers, August 28th and 29th. Little 2-game interleague series, and great seats still available for that series. You can get your tickets at texasrangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Well, here we go in division. Rangers and the A's. And it'll be Mazara, Profar, and Gallo in the second inning against Mike Fiers. And Fiers' first offering just a little bit off the plate for a ball. Mazara 1 for 4 yesterday. It's just his 5th game since coming back off the disabled list. And he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Nomar was 4 for 15 on the homestand. And he takes a strike, 1-2. So, Tom, we look at the remaining games on the schedule for the Rangers. They will play more games out here in the state of California than they will anywhere else. Kind of funny how that worked out this year.
It's funny how that worked out. Kind of works out. My schedule's about the same. I've got more games anywhere than Texas.
Yeah.
I have no more games in Texas.
That's
I'm
crazy.
a road warrior the rest of the way.
Well, that's it. You have the strength to be a road warrior
That's right.
at the end of the season.
But got a lot of rest this year. I'm
2 balls and 2 strikes.
on the trip in September. We come back out here. We play also in San Diego.
Yep.
And
Oh, yeah, in L.A.
And then against the Angels.
And then is it the last trip of the year then where we go? I know we go to Seattle.
Yeah.
And
I'm not on
then
that one.
Also L.A.
You're going to do that one without me. You guys will be all right, though. I'll be watching, which will give you moral support.
Oh, shot down the third baseline. That's a fair ball, and just stayed fair. Mazzara into second base, and he is standing with a leadoff double.
Yeah, it looked like it hit the base. That looked like he was just taking a nice smooth swing and trying to hit a hard ground ball semi-line drive and hit the third base bag. Looked like he's just aiming right for the bag. Going the other way, had a big hole on the left side to shoot for, and there it is, right inside the bag. Third base umpire is Marvin Hudson. He makes the call. That's a pretty nice job of hitting right there by Nomar with 2 strikes. It's waving a magic wand.
So the Rangers have a runner in scoring position now. And Profar up there. He was going for it.
Definitely the pitch that you have to lay off of against Fires, that high fastball out of the strike zone. It's with his delivery and the difficulty in picking the pitch up, it's just going to be a tough pitch. You might foul it off, but it's going to be a tough pitch to do any damage with. Really have to make him get it down.
Very high, 1-1. So I guess you get him to chase it the first time. You
try it again.
Go
Why
back
not?
at it again.
Why not? Yeah, and Jurickson is really not a guy all season long who has chased pitches consistently. Every hitter chases one now and then, but for the most part, that's one of Jurickson's strength: working the count, working the pitcher, seeing a lot of pitches. Ultimately, being have a pretty discerning eye at the plate. That's where Fires likes to keep it.
Well, to your point, in an era where strikeouts are so commonplace, and you're looking at a guy in Profar whose ratio of strikeouts and walks are much more balanced than the average hitter. I mean, he has 41 walks against 64 strikeouts, and it's not as if he has sacrificed power as a result. 14 home runs. He's 4th in the league with 6 triples. He's been a great RBI guy for the Rangers this year. He's really delivered in these kind of spots. And time called just as Fires was about to deliver. He did take a long pause there.
We're talking about strikeouts, Dave. I saw a stat the other day. Let's take a look at the replay here. Fires probably not completely pleased with that call, but the umpire gave Jurickson time. That's that high fastball. That's a borderline one right at the top of the strike zone. We're talking about strikeouts. You go back 15 years, there were 7 pitchers who qualified by innings pitched that averaged over 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. 7 total. Now, 15 years later, 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings is the average for a starting pitcher. There were 8 of them, 7 of them 15 years ago, and now it's the average 15 years later. That's how far the strikeout has evolved.
Way inside. That may have gotten a piece of Profar. It did. Hit by a pitch. It's the 12th time this year that Profar has been hit by a pitch, among the most in the league.
That's just one of those fluke pitches. There's not much you can do about that. Threw a curveball down and in. Jurickson's not trying to get hit by that pitch. He's trying to jump out of the way and couldn't.
That's so weird. I mean, that, you know, we've seen a lot of hit by pitches for him. That's, as I mentioned, 12. And I feel like a lot of them have been just like that, right off the back foot.
Same with Chu. Chu gets a lot of balls like that too. He gets hit a lot, and you see out of the clear blue someone throw one 2 feet inside and hit him in the back and not trying to do it. It's like he's got a magnet sometimes when he's up there.
So now a good setup here in the 2nd inning. Fires. Grooves one to Gallo for a strike. Joey, a great spot here. Mazara and Profar on in front of him. He leads the team with those 75 RBIs. Leads the team and is 4th in the American League with 32 home runs. One and one to count.
And one of the reasons Fires has a solid ERA this year is because he's pitched so well with men in scoring position. Opponents hit 162 against him with men in scoring position. He's been able to work his way out of a lot of jams. The Rangers have him in a pretty nice jam right here with nobody out.
Fires does surrender the occasional home run. 22 of them so far this year, 8th most in the American League. And Joey Gallo, as we all know, hits a lot of them. Joey has 2 hits against Fires in his career. Both of them home runs. There's your American League leaderboard at the moment. Two one. And that's outside, ball 3.
And one of the nice things to see evolve in Joey's offensive game is his ability to work the count, make the pitcher throw him strikes, work a walk. Really helped his on base percentage. He's got almost a 390 on base percentage since the All-Star break. You see his average is solid at 277, but 17 walks since the All-Star break.
Now the full count pitch from Fires, and this one lifted high in the air out to left field. Martini shading toward the line, and there's one away. That'll bring up Ronald Guzman. No, it's interesting looking around tonight, kind of hazy and overcast, like a little marine layer like we sometimes get in Southern California. But up north here, a lot of times it's so hot in the East Bay. It's a lot warmer in the East Bay, which causes all the fog back in San Francisco. Today it's hanging right over the top of us. It might mean the ball won't carry quite as much here.
I would have thought that the other day when it was raining, when Ruby hit that ball over the bullpen.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought it was going to carry too well that day either.
I mean, for sure, right? And there, those, you hear it time and again, right? Certain places, oh, you know, like in LA, if you're playing the Dodgers, your power hitters better get it in before the 4th inning or so, because when it gets cold and the marine layer settles in, it's hard to hit it out. The reality is, if you hit it right and you're a big, powerful guy, you're going to get it out.
Especially these guys today.
Yeah.
You know, 40, 50 years ago, you could hit it pretty good and maybe not get it out, but not today. Not the way these guys are built, the power they have, and the way the ball jumps off their bat. All you have to do is watch batting practice, and you can tell the difference. See 25 balls in batting practice hit where no one used to hit the ball 40 years ago. Maybe Reggie Jackson, just the big guys, the super strong guys.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count to Guzman. That was interesting. That shot we had just a moment ago there of Beltre chatting with what appeared to be Gallo and Odor. It certainly looked like they were talking about something there in the game, maybe strategically or otherwise. We don't know that. They could be talking about cartoons for all we know. I wonder if he had seen something he was trying to pass along. As much as he takes a day off and is not, let's say, in the lineup tonight, he never takes a day off. He is always engaged.
Bartolo's minding his own business, but he's laughing at what they're talking about.
1-2, and that'll even it up.
Most pitchers between innings, and it's not cold tonight, but it's chilly. Would have a jacket on maybe. Bartolo's just over there working on his gum, taking in the conversation. And when the third out is made, he'll go back out there and pitch.
He is one of the more mysterious, unpredictable dudes there is. For a guy who's always kind of the same when he's out there. I mean, at home it's 100+ degrees and he's got his hoodie on and he's bundling up. Here it's chilly tonight. And he's got no sleeves, nothing extra going. You can't figure him.
I wouldn't think stress enters into his game plan at all.
I'm with you on that. Certainly not at this point in his career. Fires through 16 pitches in the first. And he's laboring here in the second inning. That is the 23rd pitch of this inning. He's only retired one batter.
Yeah, that last fastball in that location, it's so hard for her. You know, after it's all over and done with, you say, well, if he took that one, it would have been ball 4. But when you've got 2 strikes, it's so hard to lay off this pitch. Right at the top of the strike zone, a little bit out of the strike zone. You're up there concentrating, trying to spoil a good pitch, put the ball in play. And it's a real hard pitch, especially against a guy like Fires, to lay off of.
Ooh, strike 3 called. Fires delivered a perfect pitch on the inside corner, and there are 2 away.
Well, that's almost the same thing that happened to Ruge. You get 4 or 5 pitches in a bat that are right up around the letters, and you can't help but anticipate another one. You see all the pitches up high, and then bang, there comes one down in the strike zone, and you're not fooled by the kind of pitch, you're just fooled by the location. Just not ready for a pitch down. Your eyes are geared to where every other pitch had been.
So Fires battling back here, a double and a hit batter to start the inning. And now he's an out away from any real trouble. But Robinson Chirinos, the man up there for the Rangers, and he's been swinging a big powerful bat lately as he takes inside for a ball. 7 RBIs in the last 4 games for Chirinos. You see a big year in the power categories for him. Hit a home run on the homestand. That one comes back to catch a corner. And Chirinos, a guy with 5 home runs since the All-Star break. Up 2-1. Seemed like the first, I don't know, month and a half, maybe 2 months of the season, the Rangers just could not buy a hit with the bases loaded or with a runner in scoring position, and really struggled early on. They had base runners, it seemed, aplenty, but just could not get them home. And that's a little trend that turned around quite a bit. It's now 2-2. And one of the guys, you can go back to June 23rd for Chirinos. He's hitting .406 with runners in scoring position. It's that point of the season, so he's had an ability to dial it in these spots, although now we're going to have to battle with 2 strikes. Here it comes. It's a full count.
Fires is going to throw at least 46 pitches in 2 innings. He's thrown 45 already. 26 strikes, 19 balls, and a number of pitches probably a little bit out of the strike zone that have been swung at, most of them high.
Yeah, this will be the 30th pitch of this inning.
He's only faced 5 guys.
Well, here it comes. And this ball hit well out to left field. Martini on the run, though, and he'll track it down. The inning is done. So the Rangers leave a couple out there. We played an inning and a half. No score tonight.
By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right.
Beautiful scenes here in Northern California. No scores. We go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. And Stephen Piscotty will lead things off for Oakland. Colon just a little bit off the plate with ball 1. Piscotty, Marcus Simeon, and Ramon Laureano. This ball hit hard over 3rd, down the left field line, and that is a fair ball. Piscotty cruises to 2nd base, and he is in there with his 34th double of the year.
Piscotty was pretty hot in July, cooled off in August, but the amount of doubles you just described, pretty good amount of doubles. 34 doubles with more than a month to go in the season. He should be over 40. They have a lot of guys kind of like Piscotty. They're hitting somewhere between 245 and 275. Have a good number of extra base hits, solid number of RBIs. They're not just dependent on one or two guys, although Chris Davis certainly supplies a lot of their offense. But they've got a lot of pretty solid hitters throughout the lineup, and they're not one of the top offensive teams, but they're solid. Everything about their game has been really solid. The offense has been solid all year. I mean, anytime you win the amount of games that they've been winning, what was it, 42-10?
Yeah, 41 and 10.
14, 41 and 10, whatever it is. I mean, you've got to be doing something right.
Bob Melvin.
I have to say that Bob Melvin is the leading candidate to be manager of the year. In fact, if he hasn't, they ought to just retire the vote for the rest of the year and just give it to him right now.
Yeah, it has been amazing. This was not a team that was much of the conversation at the beginning of the year. I don't think there's anybody too concerned about, well, would they or wouldn't they make a run in the division. But it is a team that last year finished 17-7. They were nearly 500 after the All-Star break. 36 wins, 37 losses. And even though they were the worst defensive team in baseball, they finished strong as this ball hit hard out to left field over the head of Joey Gallo. Around third, Piscotty. Simeon drives home the first run of the ball game, and Oakland leads 1-0. Back-to-back doubles in the second.
You know, even Dave, with that kind of a finish, when you only win 74 games in a season, that kind of goes unnoticed. And some people that do notice it would probably say, well, big deal, it's in September, it didn't mean much. But it does definitely seem like it's carried over into the season. Nice swing by Simeon to rip that ball over Joey's head in left field. And, you know, it sounds like an insult, and I certainly don't mean it that way, but I would think unless you watch this team play every day, if you just come in here for a 3-game series and you look at their lineup and you look at their pitching staff just on paper, it wouldn't strike you as a team that went 41-10. You look at it and go, well, where is it coming from? And just coming from everywhere. Everything's solid, and they must gel together well as a team. The other thing they do is they score more runs than any other team after the 8th inning, so they score a lot of runs late. And early in the year, we were talking about Seattle winning a lot of one-run games. The A's are 26-10 in one-run games, and they're 39-19 in games decided by 2 runs or less. So they're winning a lot of close games.
Yep, and they're doing it in a certainly very different way than, let's say, the Houston Astros are, or a lot of teams for that matter. And when it came trade deadline time, they were not targeting starting pitching, even though that is probably their greatest weakness. They instead decided to keep building on their strength, which was their bullpen. This ball hit well out to right field, and carrying well and gone. Ramon Laureano with his first big league home run. And it was a 2-run shot, makes it 3-0 Oakland.
Laureano didn't know that ball went out of the ballpark. He was going for an inside the park home run till he got to third base. But you know, you're talking, Dave, about a night where it's a little bit damp, it's a little bit chilly. You wouldn't think the ball's carrying very well. And here's the 8th place hitter hitting his first home run by driving it the opposite way to straightaway right field. He hit that ball solidly. Didn't get out by much, but it snuck far enough over the fence to count for a home run. There you see him sprinting, slide.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But I'm sort of with him, right? When and like I said, I mean, he hit the ball well. You knew it was struck very well to right field, but then it wasn't coming down.
Yeah,
you could tell.
When you hit a ball like that, you're hoping it's far enough to get over the outfielder's head.
And over the outfielder's head, Lucroy will cruise to second with the 3rd double of the inning.
The A's are getting some pretty good pitches up and out over the plate, and they're not missing them. 4 straight hitters, 3 doubles and a home run. You see that ball had some movement on it, but it was up, and the movement brought it from the outside corner right to the middle of the plate. Lucroy jumped on it.
Oh, his 19th double of the year. Now to the top for Nick Martini, who lined out in the first inning. And he takes a ball. Cologne has been squared up a few times here in the second inning. In fact, 4 doubles already tonight for Oakland, 3 of them in this inning. The other day they hit 8 doubles in their 7-1 victory over Houston, and that was a season high. So they're halfway to that number already here tonight. It was a strike, 2-1.
Kept saying 41-10. The number I was looking for, and I couldn't find it. They're 40-14 in their last 54 games. It was pretty tough to remember since I only said it about 3 times in the open to the show. Half an hour later, can't remember what the numbers were. They were 34-36 before they went 40-14. Well, it took them a while to gel.
Well, they have definitely figured it out. And they have still tinkered and made moves and tried to add here, improve there, and they have. And they beat Houston the other day. I guess that would have been on Saturday to pull into a first place tie for the division. Yesterday they came up short. Houston won the final game of that series, and as a result, Oakland fell back into second place. This ball hit well out to center. Robinson to his left hauls it in. Lucroy will advance though on the deep fly ball out, and now he's just 90 feet away.
You see Drew fall down on that play, and one of the reasons probably is because they played football games here. This is one of the most beautiful playing surfaces in baseball before they start to play football. But that area out there is where they have temporary bleachers, and even though it looks pretty good, there might be a little portion of it out there where it's a little bit slick, and certainly look like that. You can see the lining of the field goes right straight through the middle of the field, and where Drew was is not in the playing field, but it's where the bleachers are. It actually looks pretty good right now. They probably only played 1 game here, and after they played 3 games or so out here, maybe more than that, it starts to look a lot worse than that. They do an incredible job keeping it as well as they do. It's almost impossible to keep it any better when you're playing football on it.
Matt Chapman skies one to short left field, and Gallo gets there to make the play. 2 gone. So talking about that Houston and A's series that concluded yesterday, our showstopper was Justin Verlander yesterday, picking up career win number 200, now 3rd among active players. And he gave up some hard contact early in that ball game. Falling behind early, a couple of home runs, came back and chewed up that Oakland lineup the rest of the way to pick up career win number 200. There's your active leader right now in all of Major League Baseball, Bartolo Colon. And you look at his ranks among active pitchers: most starts, wins, most losses, most complete games. For that matter, most.
I would have thought he had more than 38 complete games.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because, you know, he's not a guy that was ever wild or had to throw an inordinate amount of pitches. Would have thought that would have led to more complete games.
So what about 200 wins? You know, Verlander picking up his 200th there. I mean, 300 it seems is nearly out of the question for anybody anymore.
Yeah, you just don't. Well, you go back in the old days in 4-man rotations, guys were starting, you know, 38, 40 times, sometimes more than that. They had more starts. They're pitching deeper into games, throwing complete games, so they're getting more decisions. Now with pitchers frequently out in the 5th inning, 6th inning, very seldom going more than 7 or 8 innings for sure. They come out of the game early, they're not getting as many decisions, so it's even harder to win 300 games, 200 games for that matter. And when Fergie first came to the Rangers back in 1974, he had 27 or 29 complete games that year. You know, he won 25 games. If he was coming out in the 5th and 6th inning, he wouldn't have won 25 games.
0-2. And this one lifted down that left field line. Plenty of time for Gallo to get to it, and the inning is done. So Oakland picks up 3 runs. They leave a man at third, and they have the early lead here tonight.
We're going to go back and look at the home run. StatCast AI powered by AWS is going to give us some numbers on that ball hit by Ramon Liriano. Exit velocity almost 104 miles an hour. It went 385 feet, just far enough to sneak over the fence in right field, but an impressive home run nevertheless. Got a guy hitting 8th in the lineup. First home run, went the other way and took a nice swing and ended up with a very nice result.
Third inning here.
I just wish he could have seen it go out of the park and enjoyed it instead of thinking he had to beat the throw in and get a triple.
Yeah, he'll enjoy it somehow or another. Now there's a swing and a miss. Robinson goes down quickly here in the 3rd inning, one away.
One thing I am looking forward to do, I really wasn't expecting Liriano to hit a home run, but based on what he did in the minor leagues and what he's done already in a short time in the big leagues, I'm looking forward to seeing him make a throw. He had that throw last week on the highlight reel where he threw it from the left field wall all the way to first base to get a double play. Made a spectacular catch, and then that throw. So he's got an arm. Be fun to see him almost throw out a Ranger player.
Yeah, I'd love to see him come really close on a great play.
A great throw. So, you know, he didn't get him, but boy, that was a great throw.
Two walked in the 1st inning on a 10-pitch at bat. Real good battle he had with Fires.
If you're watching the game right now, don't go get a drink because we're going to show that throw as soon as we get a chance. And it's worth watching. There we go. Watch the catch as he goes into left center field. Upton hit that ball right to the wall. Now watch this throw. All the way from the warning track, as far as he could throw it. Look at the first baseman. Right on the bag. First baseman's acting like the throw's not coming. You know, big league players see a lot of great plays, but you don't see that very often.
Now that.
You get that kind of reaction, you know it's something pretty good.
Yeah, Chu goes down swinging. I think I saw that throw was measured. Is it possible it would have been 391 feet or would it be 291?
291 probably.
Yeah, it must be 291.
Because it's only, he caught it like at the...
321.
321?
Okay. Yeah. I had the one right. It figures.
321, that's a long throw.
Yeah, on the fly, perfect, on target. Mark Canha was just hanging out. That's the other thing. He set that up with a beautiful deke too. Although it's not like the runner pulled up.
You know, he was trying to get back. Yeah, it's one thing to be able to throw it that far. I don't think many outfielders can throw it that far. Maybe they can, but then to make it that accurate, that's what made the play. How accurately he threw it.
He's a guy, Laureano, who was, he was acquired in a trade, a very under the radar kind of no big deal trade made last offseason by Oakland with Houston. An 18th round pick by the Astros, and they weren't going to protect him prior to the Rule 5 draft, and they figured, well, somebody will probably just pluck him away from us for free in the Rule 5 draft. So I guess if there's anybody out there willing to make an offer, we'd go ahead and entertain that, and they did. And Oakland was that team willing to pony up a couple of players for him, and it has really worked out beautifully for the A's.
Yeah, the Astros had so many outfielders at the big league level and in the minor leagues that they just didn't have room for everybody. It probably worked out for them too. They got more than they would have gotten if someone claimed them in the Rule 5 draft. Would have gotten $50,000 for that is all.
Yeah, much rather get a couple of players. And so one of those, and the other part of that is that helps the players, helps Laureano. He was stuck in a system where he wasn't going to get any playing time anyway. 2-1 pitch. No, door comes up empty. All of a sudden Fires has dialed in the deception here and the swing and the miss. 4 strikeouts so far, but he's punched out 3 of the last 4 Rangers hitters. After a long second inning, been much more efficient here in the third. Odor fights him off.
You know, with so many teams looking to improve their pitching at the trade deadline, there are a lot of players better known than Fires, maybe with better overall track records than Fires, and he was kind of an under the radar acquisition, but he's pitched twice. This is his 3rd start for the A's. He's won both of his starts. One of his starts. He's had 2 good starts and he's won one of them, so he's pitched well, probably as well as you would have hoped coming over here.
Breaking ball, and he gets Odor swinging to in the 3rd inning. He strikes out the side in order, and so Fires dialed in. We played 2.5. It's 3-0.
by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today.
Well, that's a beautiful shot right there. The Golden Gate Bridge. Those huge cargo ships moving out to the ocean. Now here we go to the bottom of the third inning. And Chris Davis struck out in the first inning. And he takes a strike here. So you look at home runs since 2016 by any individual against any opposing team. And obviously there he is right at the top of the list. What he has done against the Rangers has been nothing short of spectacular. Now, the Mariners probably, you know, whining about Chris Davis too. but what he has done to the Rangers has been even worse.
Is it 121 home runs in the last 3 years? That's more than anyone in baseball. Well, the Rangers have seen more than their fair share, but a lot of other teams have seen it too.
2-1 from Cologne, and just barely missed. 3-1. Oakland 74-50. 24 games over 500. And this ball hit well, high in the air, deep to left field, and that one is way gone. Are you kidding me? Off the windows, out in Mount Davis. And that's number 37 this year for Chris Davis. Makes it 4-0.
That's one of the longer ones I've seen hit in this ballpark. That went above the seats. But talking about a guy who's hot. Seems like he's always hot when he's playing the Rangers. And when you get behind at 3-1 and you throw the best home run hitter in baseball, a fastball right down the middle of the plate, that's what can happen. That thing hit the windows out there. That thing was a blast.
438 feet.
I'm thinking that went more than 438 feet. It's 380 feet to the wall. The ball had to go more than 50 feet over the fence. But who am I to argue with technology?
What? By the way, what is on the?
Some fans sign their name to it. I wonder if he let, you know, before the game, little kids go out and the players sign their ball. I wonder if he had one of the little kids.
Anthony
sign
Slocum.
his name. There you go. That's pretty cool.
That's really cool. that is awesome.
Let's check the StatCast information. 111 miles an hour, 28 degrees. It says 438 feet, so I'm not going to argue with technology, but my unofficial recorder in my brain and my eyes would have said more than that.
Little roller down to first and jammed Olsen one away. Well, let's take a moment, a Chevy game break, and send it back to Dana Larson.
Now batting, number 25, Stephen Piscotty.
All right, thanks, Dana. So the Braves win again, continuing to hold down that top spot in the National League East, and a half-game lead coming into play today. Now Stephen Piscotty, who doubled to start that 3-run second inning. Bouncer third base. Profar has a little time and throws out Piscotty. Tom, I keep looking out at that area where that home run hit, and I think of the way it caromed off that window. I mean, it was shooting back toward the seats. I'm with you. 438 feet doesn't do it for me.
Well, it's probably 375 feet to the wall, and that thing hits It wasn't going to come straight down where it hit. It was going to
No.
go 10 or 15 feet farther.
At least that thing was moving.
And you know, he's obviously got great power. He's swinging at a 3-1 pitch, takes his best swing, makes his best contact. If I had to put a number on that, I would have said like 465, 470 maybe. But you know, you get the bat speed, the launch angle, and all the numbers that go along with it. Comes out 438. So where we'd argue with that. Doesn't keep us from arguing.
You ever been pulled over for speeding?
Yeah, but every time I've ever been pulled over for speeding, I knew exactly how fast I was going.
Well,
and I've never tried to lie my way out of it.
Well,
said, yep, you got me.
And so when they come to the car and they tell you, well, so do they ask you first, right? Yeah, do you know how fast you were going? Do you always tell them?
Yep.
Yeah, I was going 78.
Yep. 120.
There's a base hit to left field by by Simeon.
But the other side of that is I haven't had a speeding ticket. And
don't say it. Don't jinx yourself.
No, I really don't speed now. As bad as the drivers are, I, for the most part, drive in the right lane and stay in the right lane. It's, you know, you see the motorcycles going 140 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic. If you're, you know, you should never daydream when you're driving, but if you're not like 100% attentive, that motorcycle can scare the daylights out of you, especially if it's loud.
Well, what a pick down at third by Profar. And he throws out Laureano to end the inning. And that was a nifty play by the Rangers' third baseman. Inning over. Chris Davis with another home run. He makes it 4-0 A's. Wednesday, August 29th. You can circle that one on the calendar. Rangers and Dodgers, and it will be the next Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. That should be a good game. Dodgers still in it out of the National League West, 2 games out of first. They've won the last 5 National League West titles. And Mike fires, goes to work here in the 4th inning. He delivers a strike to Elvis Andrus. Elvis saw that pitch maybe a little differently. Oh, 0-2 on Elvis.
Just asked Ray Fosse how far he thought that ball went. He wasn't aware that it said 438. And Vince Cotroneo in the radio side said Chad Pinder hit one farther than that last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they agree that 438 was a silly number?
Yeah, they thought it went farther than that.
Ground ball shortstop, and Elvis retired to start the fourth inning. And Omar Mazara coming to bat. Let's check in with Leslie.
Well, guys, just his 5th game back already. He's had a hit in every single game. Told me earlier today he feels like he's about 80%, but clearly strong enough to play. But he made the most out of his time sitting out. He said, it's the longest I've ever had to sit out. He said, so I really wanted to make sure I kept my legs in shape, that I was focused. He said I would sit in the dugout and go through at-bats in my head. He said Justin Mayshore told him he might be a little more selective now with his at-bats since that thumb is still bothering him. But he said, either way, I'm not sure that's the reason. I just feel like I am doing a good job of that, and clearly it's paying off so far.
Yeah, I would think once you got medical clearance, once the doctors say that you're okay to play if you can stand the pain, it's not going to get any worse, that every player on the team would feel some type of pressure to go out there and play because of Adrian Beltre.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got him sitting on the bench and you know what he plays through, I think you're probably a little more willing to go out there with some pain, and even if you're not 100%, give it your best shot. I'd feel that way anyway.
No, that's a really good point, though. You don't always think of it in those terms, but you're absolutely right. As this one bounced down to first, Mazara put out quickly and easily, 2 away. All right, let's take a moment and hear a word from the good folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
Well, 2 away. Fires has retired 8 in a row now.
And there's a lot of players who play when they're hurt. And I think back to years past with the Rangers, and probably, although Adrian's going to be like that anyway, I'm sure he watched Michael Young play when Michael was hurt. I remember Michael playing for weeks with, I don't think it was 2 broken thumbs, but 2 sprained wrists, something that would have put other people on the disabled list. And, you know, he's figuring out how to go out there and play and not complaining about it. People ask him how he is. He's saying, I'm all right. I'm all right. You know, they say, are you 100%? And you want to say back to him, you know, I'm not 100%. I'm asked such a stupid question, but it doesn't matter. I'm playing.
No balls and 2 strikes on Jurickson Profar.
And it boils down in a lot of cases, if you can stand the pain and you're 75 or 80% and you're a star, you're 75 or 80% and your presence in the lineup is going to be better than whatever the alternative would be for the manager anyway. And it was for Michael. It has been for Adrian. And same with Nomar. Guys, that's what they do, especially as, you know, as Banny said, at this time of year, there's not a player out there that's not feeling something, going into the trainer for some type of medication before the game, some kind of therapy. That's true in any sport.
Yeah, you would think, given what some of the guys go through, that there would be days where, you know, you might have to encourage or, you know, coax a guy to go out there. And in fact, it's exactly the opposite, right? Those guys, it's like a war to get them to sit down for a day and not play when they're hurt. And as a manager, sometimes, especially in today's game, guys are a little more protective, and they want their guys to take it easy sometimes. And you know, it's much more valuable to me to have you at a higher strength level for a longer amount of time than to have you every single game. But guys, players don't ever see it that way. It's hard for them to take that step back.
No, that's the way Rusty Greer was. That's why the fans loved Rusty Greer so much, because of his all-out 100% style of playing, banging into walls, diving for every ball he had a chance to catch. There's a lot of people think it might have shortened his career a little bit because of all the injuries that he had. But that's what you do when you're a professional, or what you should do.
Well, another professional inning for Mike Fiers of 1-2-3 takes us to the bottom of the fourth. Thursday, August 28th. 7:05 game. Rangers and Dodgers. First 15,000 fans get a Robinson Chirinos removable mask bobblehead, courtesy of StubHub. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com. I understand that guy, by the way, drove here in the right lane.
He's cautious.
He is cautious. He just, listen, you can't be too careful at the ballpark.
He wasn't sure if they'd put the screen up here to protect the fans. He wasn't taking any chances.
Oh, man.
You gotta love that guy.
He is in the game.
Before we say anything, he could have a reason for having that on, too.
Well, I suppose that's true.
You have to be careful.
I suppose that's true. Fly ball out to left field. And Gallo hauls it in, one away. Nick Martini coming up now.
Nick Martini.
Well, Bartolo working here with his fourth inning. Right-hander has kept the pitch count fairly low, all things considered. I mean, that is the one thing about Bartolo. He comes after guys. That hurt him a little bit in the second inning. And Oakland made some pretty solid contact. 1-1 the count.
Since Martini was recalled, he's had 14 starts. He's hit .333. He's walked 10 times. He's been hit by a pitch 4 times. He had a 65 game on base streak in AAA. Shin-Soo Choo's was 52. Was it 52 games?
Yeah.
This kid had one for 65 games in AAA.
So 65 games, and the all-time major league record is 84, right? And that was Ted Williams. 65, you're getting pretty.
That's
I mean, that's a big number.
Whether it's big league, AAA, or anywhere, that's a lot.
Full count now. Martini has lined out and flied out. And this now his 31st game. This one up the middle, but positioned well. Andrews gathers it up, throws out Martini, and there are 2 gone.
Now batting third baseman, number 26, Manfred.
Well, Bartolo is retired. 8 of the last 10 he has faced. Chapman had a double his first time in. That was back in the first inning. Flat out to left field his last time up. We're talking about wins earlier and chances of guys getting to levels like 200 wins as Verlander did yesterday. 247 as Bartolo has done in his career. 300 seems like such an impossibility anymore. Just the way the game is played. And now more and more there's all this talk about openers, right? Teams starting games with a reliever for an inning or 2 and then giving the ball to a guy who might go 4 or 5 innings. And the more we start seeing that become a reality, well, then the way we calculate and think about wins, it's going to be, forget about it. Did he go? No. 2-1.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. Things change. My cynical response to that would be the teams that have good starting pitching aren't the ones doing that. You don't see the Astros doing it. But who knows? Things change, things evolve, new ideas.
Yeah, and it was bandied about quite a little bit this last week with the Rangers. Maybe explore that idea just a little bit. And it seemed to be one of those subjects that is not dismissed out of hand anyway. Rangers might consider it as Chapman goes down looking and the inning is done. So Bartolo, nice job in the 4th. We enter the 5th inning. Rangers trailing by 4, but Joey Gallo set to lead things off when we come back. pitchers coming to bat here in the 5th inning. Now our Kubota power stats. Mike Fiers out there for a 5th. And now this is his 3rd start with Oakland. Well, the numbers are pretty good. 1.79 ERA and a little better than 15 innings. 18 strikeouts. And so far tonight has been in absolute command. Really is. The only real threat was in the 2nd when the Rangers got the first 2 men on. But then he retired 3 in a row and ho-hum. Gallo takes a pretty healthy rip at that one.
No, when you look at the A's rotation, Sean Manaea is kind of the one young up-and-coming starter that they have. They got him in a trade from Kansas City. But they have Brett Anderson, Trevor Cahill, 2 kids that started out with the A's in their early 20s, went their own separate ways, and in a roundabout way made it back here. Anybody could have had them. Edwin Jackson has been pitching for a long time, still has a great arm, has always had teams willing to sign him, but everyone could have signed him too. And I think when you look at pennant contending teams, a lot of times you'll say you have to have that one guy that you signed. You sign 5 or 6 guys like that and hope one of them hits. The A's have several of them in the rotation at the same time. You just don't look at that rotation. Anderson, Cahill, Fiers, Jackson, and Manaea, and see a rotation that even comes close to the Astros. Yet here they are. Guys, you've got guys kind of resurrecting their careers at this stage anyway. It's a short sample, but while they've been with the A's, they've been doing well.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, especially considering Fiers, right? You're right. I mean, not close to what the Astros are running out there in their rotation. But Fiers last year, he led the Astros in starts and in innings pitched on their World Series team. He didn't even make the postseason roster, though. That was what was so weird. And then the year before, you go to 2016, he was probably the Astros' best starter. He runs that one in. It's a full count. So it's really kind of been a weird run for him the last couple of years. Very underappreciated, it seemed, by Houston.
I think so, too.
He was non-tendered this offseason, and so he went and he signed with the Tigers. It's like the Astros just didn't want anything to do with him, even though all he had done was basically be their best, most consistent performer for those 2 great years. So he strikes out Joey Gallo. Well, taking a look at our Progressive upcoming schedule. This is the opening game of this series tonight. Tomorrow and then Wednesday afternoon, we'll wrap things up here in Oakland. Stay in the Bay Area, though. Enjoy an off day on Thursday and then open a series on the other side of the Bay with the Giants. Little interleague play over the weekend. It'll be fun.
You know, the other way of looking at that, Dave, with the Astros and Fiers, they've got 2 guys in their bullpen, Colin McHugh. McHugh won 18 games for him a few years ago. He's in the bullpen, and Brad Peacock was like 13-2 one year. He's in the bullpen, so there just really wasn't any room.
Fly ball to left by Guzman, 2 away. And that's not to, I mean, not to say that the Astros are doing anything wrong. They won the World Series. They used Fiers the way they saw fit. It worked out for them. You know, whatever. They do their thing. They're the same team that released J.D. Martinez several years ago. He's gone on to do pretty well beyond the Astros. But that happens all the time.
The bottom line for the Astros is they've done that, and they're the world champs. So, you know, that's the bottom line. And actually, you could make a case it's worked out better for Fiers. Fiers could be in the Astros bullpen like McHugh and Peacock. You know, and he'd be on a great team, and that'd be nice. But at the same time, he went to the Tigers and he stayed in a rotation and he pitched great. He got traded. Now he's pitching in a pennant race as a starter. So I guess you've got the question: would you rather be a bullpen pitcher for the Astros or a starting pitcher for the Tigers and the A's? I think most starting pitchers would probably say I'd rather be a starting pitcher.
The Astros still leading the West this year, but only by a game, as the A's have been making a mad charge. Mariners have fallen to 4.5 back. And in fact, it's the Astros and Mariners up in Seattle tonight. Astros, this is a pretty big road swing for them. Here in Oakland, and now up in the Pacific Northwest. 1-2 the count on Chirinos. I was also going to say about Oakland, and again, I don't mean this to be in any way demeaning of what they have accomplished. You have to get lucky sometimes. You know, you make some of these moves and the guys hit there, or they end up just getting into a groove for you.
And that's what I was saying. Sometimes lucky is finding one of those guys. They've got 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, Fiers still looking good here tonight. He cruises now through 5, shutting out the Rangers.
Where the Rangers trail 4-0. Time for our 4-game summary, and we're going to highlight that blast by Chris Davis way out of left field, off the facing of the windows in the luxury boxes out there. They said it went 438 feet. That was the home run that led off the 3rd inning and made the score 4-0. Chris Davis continues to pummel Ranger pitching and big league pitching in general.
And he is due up second this inning. Jet Lowry goes after the first pitch here. Lowry 0 for 1 with a walk. Oakland leading 4-0. And you said it earlier, what, 40-14, the run that they are on as a team. And they've climbed to within 1 game of the division leading Houston Astros. Inside 1-1. And Houston playing some big games up in Seattle. Where the Mariners, I mean, they're not ready to give up yet. This one fouled away. Mariners feel like, you know, though they are 4.5 out of the division, still feel like they have a chance at a wild card, or maybe even the division themselves. Trailing right now 4-3 at home.
Well, if they sweep the series with Seattle, they'll be right there. With Houston, they'll be right there.
Ooh, strike 3 called. Lowry takes a close one. Does not like that call, and not even a little bit. And he lets Bruce Druckman know.
I think the movement took it right to the bottom of the strike zone and right on the corner. Maybe a little bit off the corner, but pretty close. No hitter's going to agree with that. I saw where Ben Zobrist got kicked out of a game the other day playing for the Cubs when he said to the umpire, "Now you see why we want an electronic monitor for the umpires," and he got kicked out of the game. My observation would be, watching player reaction to our strike zone, is that if it ever does get to that, the hitters aren't going to be the happy ones. It's going to be the pitchers, because those balls don't have to be in the strike zone. They just have to be touching any part of the strike zone. So if you take the ball and barely touch the low or inside corner of the plate, there's not a hitter alive that's ever thought that that was anywhere close to being a strike. And so I think the pitchers are going to be the ones that have the field day if it ever gets to that. Hitters probably better off just letting it lie and counting on the umpires to make the call.
I just can't see it happening. Can you?
No, I really can't. But at the same time, there's probably a lot of things that have happened over the last 20 years that you might not have envisioned. So you never know.
Well, Guzman and Colon combining to make a nice play to complete a 1-2-3 for Bartolo. Hey, we'll go to the 6th inning. It's 4-0. Thank you, Dana. And here a 4-0 ball game as we get going in the 6th inning, and Robinson fouls one off. Drew did not have a real good at bat his first time up in the 3rd. 3 pitches, struck out, and I guess on 1 or 2 of the pitches looked a little fooled. So we'll see what kind of adjustments he makes. Fires, meanwhile, seems to be getting better as the night wears on. In fact, Fires has retired 12 straight since that 2nd inning when he allowed a leadoff double to Mazzara and then hit Profar. He has turned every single Rangers hitter back to the dugout. Well, he goes 2-1 here on Robinson. Drew, a left-handed hitter, hitting 189. And an up-and-down season for Robinson. And he takes a close one there. It's 2-2. Drew was recalled on Friday. It's his 3rd stint with the Rangers. Also on the opening day roster, and then briefly about a week there in early August.
And Fires is not a guy that pitches deeply into ball games. This year he averages less than 6 innings per start. So while he's done a solid job, he's not a guy that you would look at as a top of the rotation guy. He's probably a 4th or 5th starter. So he'll give you a good 5 2/3, sometimes 6 innings.
Fires picks up another strikeout. One away. The WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard now as Chu strides to the plate. How about this? The last 10 days in the American League, Chu has had the highest batting average of all, 465. Today 0 for 1 with a walk. On base for Chu was just a shade under 400 coming into play tonight as well. And that's for the year. He was at 396 coming in. Fires, delivers, and Chu takes a breaking ball for a strike. This ball hit hard on the ground. Towards second, though, and Lowry throws out Chu. Chu gone. So, base is empty for Rougned Odor, and we check in again with Leslie.
Well, guys, we've talked so much about how Odor has improved, but I wanted to see what Adrian Beltre thought was the biggest difference in Rugi since the second half of the season. And he said the biggest thing is he understands now more what he needs to do on a daily basis. He said not only has he improved on offense and defense, he said he is a completely new player. He's more consistent. He has a swagger. And guys, we talk so much about how important routine is to these players, but Adrian said it's not just putting in the work, it's knowing what you need to work on, and that has helped Rougned improve.
Oh, he chops this one right to Semien, who was swung way over on the other side of the infield, and it completes a 1-2-3 for Fiers, who continues to pitch this one in a rocking chair. It's 4-0 Oakland. Blonde, it's light, done right. And now to the bottom of the 6th inning. A couple of Hall of Famers hanging out. Stephen Piscotty will lead things off for Oakland. Bartolo Colon out there in this 6th inning. He's retired 7 straight and 9 out of the last 10. Both starters have really settled down beautifully tonight. 1-1 now to Piscotty.
Yeah, Fiers had somewhere around 47 or 48 pitches in the first 2 innings. He's had somewhere right around that in the next 4 innings. Fiers really settled down.
There's a broken bat single into left field for Piscotty. So lead man on here in the 6th inning.
Yes, Piscotty had a leadoff double in the 2nd, hit just about like that. Hit it more toward the line, so he was able to get to second.
Marcus Semien. He takes ball 1. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Jeffrey Springs getting ready down the right field line. Bullpens here in Oakland just sort of plop down with his room, which works. Of course, in Oakland, there's a lot of room. More foul territory in this ballpark than in some divisions, it seems, in Major League Baseball. There's a lot of ground to cover. It's good for pitchers. Well, Oakland got 3 runs in the second.
Ever seen a stat come out for A's players who are regular players that qualify for the batting championship, and how many points on average it costs you on your average playing here as opposed to another stadium because of foul pop-ups?
I haven't.
You know, is it?
I haven't.
6 pop-ups a year that would have gone into the stands that are caught here? 2, 3, 4? Wonder what it is.
You know, it's something, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's
got to be something negative. Just wondering how much of a factor it is.
Now that seems like the exact kind of thing that someone has definitely done, right?
You would think so.
Because, like, it's easy, it's accessible. I mean, seems like it would be easy.
Well, because of that foul territory, if you're the A's, you almost have to have a good first baseman. And one of Matt Olson's strengths, their first baseman, is his ability to dig balls out of the dirt. Because if it gets by you, guys just keep on running. Not one base, but a couple of bases most of the time.
This ball hit sharply up the middle, and Simeon is aboard. Piscotty will stop at second base. Back-to-back hits to begin the 6th inning.
Well, that's the way the second inning started, only they were both doubles, not singles. Softly hit double, then a rope by Simeon. Simeon hit that ball hard, too. He's got 3 hits in the game.
Well, Doug Brocale out here, maybe just to buy a little extra time. But it also seems like a part of the order where Bartolo could get a ground ball here, and dealing with the 8th and 9th place hitters, maybe get a double play, a strikeout, something like that in these last couple of spots and get through this 6th inning. Juan Laureano, that man right there, homered earlier, his first big league home run. And Jane Lee, who covers the Oakland A's for MLB.com, has been covering the team for quite a little while. She pointed out earlier today via Twitter that Laureano was 2 years old when Bartolo made his big league debut. Well, these many years later, he homers off him.
Like the exact same pitch that he hit for a home run.
Struck again, deep to left field, gone. Laureano with a 2-homer night. This one good for 3 runs, and it makes it 7-0 Oakland.
Well, we've seen Laureano with a great swing, hitting one to right field, and this one we really saw his power. A pitch coming right back toward the middle of the plate, and he got the good part of the bat on that one. Big night for Ramon Laureano. Let's see where that one landed. Didn't quite get the second deck, but it came pretty close.
Well, that one will do it for Bartolo Colon. Rangers going to their bullpen. Pitching change sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. Yeah, Bartolo Colon is out, and the man who is in now, Jeffrey Springs.
And the numbers for Jeffrey. It'll be his 7th game. He's thrown the ball well. Fastball, slider, and a good changeup. It's ahead with a fastball and getting a good opportunity to see a lot of action.
Swing and a miss. Makes it 0-2 on Jonathan Lucroy.
If you've never seen him before, there's no way you could hit that second pitch. It looked exactly like the first one, only it was about 10 miles an hour slower.
This ball hit foul. Now stays 0-2. Now Lucroy, the former Ranger, he was a part of that 3-run second inning. Doubled to center field. He's also flied out to left, 1 for 2 tonight. Rangers into that pin. And Springs fires that one. Chirinos was ready to go around the horn with it. 1-2 the count. He thought he had strike 3. One up the middle into center field, drops in, base hit. Robinson couldn't quite get there. Well, coming up Saturday, September 1st. Holy mackerel, September's that close. Rangers and Twins. First 15,000 fans get a Rangers captain bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Go to TexasRangers.com. or call 972-RANGERS to get your tickets. All right, a pinch hitter here. It's Chad Pender batting for Nick Martini. Martini finishes the night 0 for 3.
That's the second time in this game that the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters have had back-to-back hits. Second inning, it was double, homer, double. This inning, single, homer, single. It's pretty amazing.
That is kind of remarkable.
Right in the middle of it has been Ramon Laureano with a 2-run homer and a 3-run homer.
Yeah, memorable night for himself. I didn't take the time to notice if he enjoyed the trip around the bases a little more this time.
I think he knew this one was gone.
Springs 1-2 pitch. A little low. Well, so the lefty gets Martini out of the game. The A's, that's one of the things when you look at the composition of this A's roster. Got some good right-left combos they can platoon with or respond mid-game in spots like these. And there's strike 3 called. That time Springs does get the corner call. I think he thought he had strike 3. He and Chirinos on Lucroy. This time they do get it on Pender.
Now batting third baseman.
Yeah, right on the corner. Good pitch.
Chapman.
So Chapman now, who is 1 for 3. He doubled in the first. And he takes a strike. Springs gets him to foul that one off. Chapman only 25 years old. First round pick in 2014 for Oakland. Talk a lot about his defense and how great it has been. And in his career, he was one of those guys who did not hit for a high average, did not get on base. struck out a ton. But now a guy hitting, what, 276 coming into play today. He's on base over 360 coming into play. So for whatever reason, things seeming to come a little easier for him this year. And he takes strike 3 called. So back-to-back strikeouts for Jeffrey Springs. Nicely done.
He made a couple of good pitches. The one to Pinder just barely caught the inside corner. This one to Chapman. You can see the glove from Chirinos. That one was all the way in the strike zone, but watch Robinson's glove. It's exactly where he had the glove. So 2 well-located pitches to get those 2 strikeouts.
Good job by Springs so far. And now he'll get the veteran switch hitter Jed Lowry. Lowry was not happy after his last at bat. That was in the 5th inning. Struck out looking. A little bit in. Now Springs pitched with both Round Rock and Frisco in the Rangers minor league system. A couple of saves. 33 relief appearances between the 2 stops. Strikeouts per 9 though, over 15 and a half. He was doing stuff like that right there, getting a swing and a miss, 2-1. And that's always been a big part of his story. He gets a lot of strikeouts, nearly a third of all batters he has faced in 4 years in the minor leagues struck out, 32.2% of them. 3-1. Springs made his big league debut on the final day of July in Arizona. Really close there on Jed Lowry. Walks him. And now a couple of base runners on, and not the scenario he wanted. Have to face Davis with a couple of men on base.
Designated hitter, number 2, Chris Davis.
Saw that signature earlier today on the back of Davis's jersey. Kind of a cool story. Hayes hosted a handful of Make-A-Wish children today before the ball game. In fact, they went out onto the field with the starters today, and Anthony Slocum, one of the Make-A-Wish kids, asked if he could sign Davis's jersey when they were just hanging out before the ball game, and Davis said, well, like, yeah, I guess so, sure. So he signed it.
It says, we're always asking you for your autograph. Yeah. How about ours?
Maybe you'd like mine.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Well, you hit a home run for him, too.
Lucroy at second, Lowry at first, and this one turned foul. It's 2-1. So since the All-Star break, you talk about the power numbers for guys. Chris Davis right there. This is all of Major League Baseball. 16 home runs, including his round tripper tonight. Joey Gallo there with 10. Those are the top 2 in the American League, but Carpenter, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Rhys Hoskins also in there in the National League side. Well, this one lifted foul over to the right side. 2-2. Well, we've noted the numbers for Chris Davis and the damage that he has done against the Rangers over the years. We talk about him all the time in absolutes, right? The 26 career home runs against the Rangers. That comes in 184 at-bats. It's a full count. And when you think about, then it's 1 home run for every 7 at-bats, basically. And that is the best ratio in Major League history for any one player against any team, with at least 150 at-bats. This one is turned foul again. So the absolute number, 26 home runs, that's really big and impressive. But the fact that he has done it with the frequency, you know, the few at-bats with which he has been able to produce those home runs, even more impressive. I'm of a mind that he's just a pretty good hitter.
I think you got an argument from any Ranger fan on that one.
3-2 pitch, and that one turns him away from the plate. So they're loaded now. And Springs has made a rather untidy bed here.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 28.
They're loaded up now. I'm guessing they want Claudio.
I think that's Claudio.
I don't know all the signs, but
I think we can figure that one out. Don't have to be a master code breaker to find that one out.
Well, Matt Olson, left-handed hitter, and he swings and misses at strike 1. Bases loaded, 2 gone. And there you see him, Lucroy, Lowry, and Davis, third to first. Oakland has already scored 3 runs this inning. Those came off Bartolo Colon. Bartolo's line tonight, the book closed on him. 5+ innings, allowed 7 runs on 10 hits, 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. And it's a place where he's always had a lot of success. So an unusually tough night for Bartolo here. Look good, and that's strike 2. Stays 1 and 2. Well, you have the lefty on lefty here that you would want if you had Springs out there. When Springs came on, it was to face the right-hander Lucroy, and then Oakland lifted the left-handed hitting Martini for a pinch hitter. But Springs got big strikeouts with Chad Pinder and Matt Chapman. A couple of walks has created a mess now, but 1-2. A high fly ball. Short right field. Mazzara coming in, and he'll handle it. The inning is done. So Oakland leaves them loaded. Springs ends up putting up a goose egg, and we go to the 7th. really lopsided so far. Rangers offensively had very little going. Well, 2019, the final season at Globe Life Park. Full and half-season tickets are now on sale. Season ticket holders secure a place in line for season tickets to Globe Life Field in 2020. So you want to get in now, visit TexasRangers.com/seasons. All right, Pinder stays in the game in left field for Oakland. 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming here in the 7th inning for the Rangers. Elvis Andrus, Nomar Mazara, Jurickson Profar. Fires puts it right in there for a strike. Fires has been unbelievable. Look at that. First pitch strikes to 18 of the 21 batters he has faced. Bouncing ball by the mound towards second. Lowry is there. One away.
Yeah, Fires through right around 47 pitches in the first 2 innings. He's at 94 pitches right now, so he's thrown the same amount of pitches in 4+ innings since then as he threw in the first 2 innings. Did not look like he was going to get much farther than 5 innings. As many pitches he had to throw early in the game, but boy, he really has settled down. Mentioned that in coming into the game, in 19 of his 23 starts, he'd walked 1 or fewer. And that's where he is right now. 1 walk. It was the first batter of the game. Hasn't walked anyone since then.
Nomar Mazara takes a strike. Nomar has the only Rangers hit. It was a double to start that 2nd inning. Fires has faced just 2 over the minimum. 0-2 the count. And he is turned back 16 in a row. Doesn't hurt that he has a little run support tonight too. Can be pretty aggressive. Bouncer towards short. Spinning stop. And Tolman's throw in time.
Wow. That's the third baseman making that play. You know, they say, we're talking to people from the A's before the game, and they say it's almost every game that he makes a play that you go, wow. So I guess that's his play today. I don't know if Nomar was out or not. It's a close play. But Chapman, as they shift it around, is now playing shortstop, which he probably was a shortstop when he was younger. He makes a nice pickup just to catch the bad hop. Does the 360, and he's got excellent arm strength. And it looks like they got him.
Yeah.
That's a nice play.
Banny was having trouble getting the phone to work. And so right now the umpiring crew all running in to double check on that issue. I don't know that he has asked them to review the play. I think what he's trying to explain right now is like, our phone doesn't work. Kind of hard for us to know whether or not we want to review a play when we can't communicate with our guys up in the clubhouse. Now they have that little walkie-talkie. Obviously must be plan B. Which makes me think this isn't the first time they've had trouble with the phones.
Previous play is under review. The runner was called.
Looks like Wakamatsu has finally made contact.
Call stand.
Oh, they did review that.
Benny said he didn't ask for the review.
Yeah, I mean this. So the call apparently confirmed. So they're calling that an official's review. So that does not go against Banny's ledger. I think maybe
they just did it because the phone didn't work. Yeah,
they may have said, all right, well, we'll go ahead and just look at it and move on.
You guys take them long to check it.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I mean, it shouldn't have.
No.
So a 2 gone. Here is Profar. Profar's been hit by a pitch tonight. Back foot on a breaking ball. Just got the end of his foot. It's one of 2 runners that the Rangers have had.
The only hit the Rangers had was the ball that Mazzara stroked down the left field line. Looked like it went right over the bag. Might have hit the bag. Double lead off the 2nd inning. And Profar got on right after that. That's pretty much it. Hit by pitch for Jurickson.
Ground ball. Again, second base. And again, Lowry right there. A 1-2-3 from Mike Fiers. Making it look easy tonight. 7-0 Oakland. The Bay Area necklace, the Bay Bridge right there in the 4. Hey, MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Go to MLB.TV for details. Pretty shot. Jeffrey Springs out again here in the 7th inning. Pitched a scoreless 6th, at least for him. It was a scoreless 6th inning. And the first pitch, this one driven out to left field and gone. Another Oakland home run. This one, Stephen Piscotty. And his 16th of the year makes it an 8-0 Oakland lead.
Impressive game for the A's offensively. That's 3 hits for Piscotty, single, a double, and a well-hit line drive out of the ballpark to left center field. He scored 3 runs. 16th home run for Piscotty. That was a line shot, got out of here in a hurry. Their home runs had not been, well, one of them just scraped the wall in right field. Laureano's first one. The ones since then have not scraped the wall, though.
Well, the 6 through 9 hitters, Tom, is that?
I'd say they've had a pretty good day. Let's see. There's 8, 9. They have 10 hits. The last 4 guys in the lineup are 10 for 11, 12, 13, 12 for.
Soft liner to short. One away.
Semien made an out. He was 3 for 3. Piscotty's made an out, Laureano's made an out, and Lucroy's made an out. And now Semien's made an out. Each one of them has made 1 out.
Well, here's one of the guys who's really been a big part of things tonight for Oakland. The rookie, Ramon Laureano, with his first 2 big league home runs tonight. And he takes a strike. 2 for 3 with 5 RBIs. Right in a hole here. 0-2. Laureano, this is just his 12th big league game. And he has made an immediate impact here in Oakland. Had a game winner the other night. Now the catch that we saw earlier, and well, the throw, I guess, more to the point, that we took another look at earlier tonight. Now tonight, a multi-homer game. Just a part of what has been a big offensive night for Oakland. He strikes out here, 2 away. All right, time for a little Chevy game break. Let's check in again with Dana Larson.
How about it? The catcher, 21, Jonathan
I love it. Thank you, Dana. I think there are a lot of folks who thought maybe this would just be a bit of a cakewalk for Houston this year.
I was one of them.
Yeah. And they're sweating it out every night.
One of the bigger series Seattle's had in a long time.
Yeah. This late
I don't know how many years. I couldn't guess how many years it's been, but I can't remember the last time they've had a series like this. Knocking on the door of the playoffs, playing the first place team.
Well, it's been 17 years since they've been to the postseason. We know that. Now, spots in there where they were a little more competitive. This base hit by Lou Croy gives the A's another base runner. But I'm with you. It's been a while. Oakland now with 13 hits tonight. And he gets Chad Pinder up for a second time. Pinder came in as a pinch hitter last inning, stayed in the game in left field, but he struck out looking. He's 0 for 1. All the way. 1-1. Not a big crowd, 9,341 the announced attendance. But the one thing you can say about Oakland fans, those who do show up, they're into it.
They are.
And they like their team.
Always love that about their fans here. That looks like that group would be perfectly willing to expand if you wanted to bring your drum and sit out there.
Yep. I bet if you showed up with, I don't know, a pot or a pan and
I think they'd welcome you.
They'd probably welcome you out there as well. There's something to make some noise. One thing this game
probably
needs.
Learn to play the drums out there. Gotta be some rookies out there.
I want that guy to really explore the space with that cowbell.
Yeah, like the man in the A's shirt, the gray shirt,
yeah,
green hat. He doesn't look like he played in a band or anything.
Off the handle, foul. Stays 2-2.
You're just sitting at home. You haven't been to an A's game in a couple years. You're watching the game. You see those guys. You just say to your wife, I know you probably don't want to come with me, but I'm going out to the ballpark tonight. I'm going to bring a cowbell, get a drumstick somewhere. I'm going to go play some drums in the group out there. Good idea, honey. Why don't you go do that?
Bouncer third base. And Profile will go the short way to second to end the inning. Can't beat him, join him. He's having fun tonight. 8-0 Oakland. By Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer today. And by Budweiser, a legendary lager for legendary moments. Rangers fans, this Bud's for you.
13, Joey Gallo.
No, 8th inning. Time running a little short for the Rangers here. Joey Gallo start things off in the 8th. And the good news for the Rangers is that Fires is out of the game. Ryan Buchter is the new pitcher. You would think that would be the good news, the way things have gone today with Fires.
That's been a good season for Buchter so far, too. This will be his 37th game. Nice, solid ERA. More than a strikeout per inning.
Gallo takes first pitch and delivers it into center field. A second base hit tonight for the Rangers.
You know, I'm still having a hard time getting used to a strikeout per inning being kind of average.
Right.
You know, you're so used, at least I have been, looking at someone's line and seeing 30 innings and 32 strikeouts and saying, whoa, that's pretty impressive. More than a strikeout per inning. Until you come to find out that it's in Major League Baseball, it's about average.
Well, Guzman now, and he'll foul this one away.
Rip at that one.
Generally speaking, with Oakland, if they take a lead late into a ball game, you're going to have some trouble coming back against their bullpen. Because their pen has been one of the strengths, one of the real highlights this year for the A's. Buchter off the plate makes it 1-1. And so I don't know that you're normally necessarily rooting to get past the starter real fast. There was a point in tonight's game where you thought to yourself, well, I sure hope Fires doesn't come back out, because he just gave the Rangers nothing. 1-2 the count.
And the A's bullpen has been enhanced at the trade deadline. They picked up Fernando Rodney. They added Juris Familia, Sean Kelly. They added some names to their bullpen to go along with an already pretty good bullpen.
Guzman into left field. That's a base hit. So back-to-back hits against Buchter. Good start to this 8th inning.
The Rangers have foiled the strategy, bringing in the lefty to face the two left-hand hitters, and they both greeted him with base hits to left field and center field. But when you're going to bring a lefty in, you'd probably bring him in here. You've got Gallo and Guzman. Chirinos breaks that up, and then it's Robinson, Chu, and Odor, 3 more left-hand hitters. 5 out of the 6 hitters that he potentially will face are left-hand hitters. Carlos Tocci may hit for Robinson.
Well, Chirinos high in the air out there to left field. Pinder and the foul ground on the way. Carlos Tocci set up now as a pinch hitter for Drew Robinson. Tocci has been a different guy at the plate in the second half this year. Batting .281 since the All-Star break. In fact, he was 4 for 7 with a walk on the homestand. And he takes a strike here. Eighth inning, a couple of men on. Rangers haven't had too many run-scoring opportunities. 0-2. Mike Fiers, who went those 7 shutout innings for Oakland tonight, allowing the 1 hit. He needed 46 pitches to go those first 2 innings, and he needed 54 pitches to go the last 5. That's turning your night around a little bit. Fly ball right side, that one foul ground. And that's interesting. I mean, nobody was going to get to it, but it seemed a little aggressive for him to make that play.
Yeah, as it turned out, I don't think the first baseman could have gotten to it, but best move is to get out of the way.
I mean, I got you. That was nice, you. But you might want to let those go. 0-2. Tocci out to center field. Oriano, long run in, but he gets there. And guess what? Coming up, there'll be an autograph session with Cody Guerin. That's going to be on August 29th, 10:30 a.m. at the Whataburger on North Denton Tap Road in Capel. Now, while you're there, you can sign up to be a Whataburger Whata fan. It would allow you to win tickets to an upcoming Rangers game, as well as Whataburger for a year. Just visit TexasRangers.com/appearances for all the information. All right, here's Chu, 0 for 2 with a walk. Buchter just a little bit low with that one. Rangers down by 8 in Oakland. The A's a game back of Houston in the American League West. As Tom mentioned earlier, 40-14 in their last 54 games. The Rangers have been playing some good baseball lately, and in particular against teams in the division. But this is a real test. You run up against this club right now, the way they're playing, and it just seems entirely different. 1-1 down the left field line, foul, and that one not playable. Oakland this year when leading after 7 innings. Do you see this number?
Yeah. Well, you're saying generally speaking, they don't blow a lead. It's a little more specific than that, isn't it?
51-0.
They're the only team in baseball that hasn't lost a game like that late.
That is pretty crazy. The 1-2 pitch again.
A couple of reasons. The pitching late in the game. Blake Treinen's been a nice closer for him. But the other part of it is, even when they give up runs, they score so many runs after the 8th inning. It makes up for any deficiency the bullpen might have had that night.
Runners with their leads and the 1-2. And a swing and a miss. Chu chased, and he strikes out to end the 8th. Rangers leave a couple. Last of the 8th inning coming. This one all Oakland tonight.
By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right.
Pretty spectacular visuals here in the Bay Area. That shot from the North Bay as we look now at Carlos Tocci, who has stayed in the game in center field. Alex Claudio is coming to pitch, making his 51st appearance. Two, 3, and 4 hitters in this 8th inning. And a little tapper back to the mound. Claudio racing over to grab it. And throws out Chapman, 1 away. Well, looking ahead to tomorrow, our Ford probables. Same time tomorrow, the rookie Ariel Lorado has the start for the Rangers, making his 6th start of the year. Brett Anderson has never had real good numbers against the Rangers in his 12 career games. He'll have the ball for Oakland. All right, Mark Canha pinch hitting here with 1 out in the 8th inning. Claudio starts him outside with ball 1. So Canha hitting for Jed Lowry, who had kind of a frustrating night. A night where pretty much everything went right for Oakland. Lowry frustrated during a few at bats by some of the calls. 2-3 and 3-0. So Alex missing those shots at the outside corner on Canna. He's now backed himself into a little bit of a spot here. Canna hitless in his last 11 at bats, and this one comes so far inside he won't get a chance to swing. He walks on 4 pitches. All right, let's take a moment now to listen in once again to our friends over at Kia.
When you're America's best value, you don't need fancy uniforms. How do you know it's clip-on?
Number 2, Chris Davis.
Well, Chris Davis comes to the plate now with a man on. 8-0 score here, bottom of the 8th. Davis is already homered tonight. He's 1 for 3. He's also walked. Meanwhile, up in Seattle, the Astros and Mariners still tied at 4. Davis lines this one into right field. That's a base hit. Tochi will cut it off, but Canna advances to third base easily on the Davis single.
You almost feel with Davis like if he gets a single, you feel like you held him to a single. He just hits the ball to all fields. Kind of steps a little bit toward third base, but it doesn't do anything to diminish his power to right field. He's definitely not a dead pull hitter.
So on the corners, Matt Olson will turn this one foul. Olson, one of the others in this lineup, who's not been able to participate in all the fun. Oakland's had a big night at the plate. 8 runs on 14 hits, but Olson's 0 for 4. Reaches out and taps this one towards second. Odor will go to second base to get the force out. Run scores as Canna comes in from third, but Davis erased, and there are 2 away. Give Olson an RBI on the fielder's choice. It was 4-6.
Right fielder, number 25, Steven Piscotty.
And now Piscotty, who is 3 for 4 with a home run, a single and a double. You know what that means? Cycle watch. Oh, it's always, the guys always leave the triple, it seems, for the last one, though. Not a likely outcome. 1 and 1
That's
to
the
count.
rarest one. So if you needed a triple for the cycle, and an outfielder fell down and you had a chance for an inside the park home run, would you stop at third?
I would not.
I wouldn't either. I'd rather have a single, a double, and 2 home runs than hit for the cycle.
Yeah, I mean,
any day.
no
Such a random thing.
Yeah, the cycle is a kind of a.
I mean, you can say you did it, but you know, like when you look at the list of people that did it, it's not like Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Willie Mays.
No, I'm with you on that. It's just an oddity more than anything else. There's a swing and a miss, and Piscotty strikes out to in the 8th inning. But they add a run. So now last chance for the Rangers coming. They trail by 9.
Rangers 0. And it's time for our Southwest player breakdown. We're going to look at Ramon Laureano for the breakdown tonight. His first home run in the big leagues, and the first home run tonight was a nice shot, went the other way, barely got it out of the park. His second shot, second home run in his brief major league career, was a longer one to left field, over 400 feet. So for Ramon Laureano, 2 home runs, a 2-run shot and a 3-run shot, 5 RBIs, and a beautiful night at the ballpark for the young center fielder.
Meanwhile, Canna goes to left field. Saw a shot of him. Pender was in left field, and now he takes over at second base. Sean Kelly is the new pitcher. He finds the inside corner, 1-1 to Odor. And I think Rudy would argue differently. Breaking ball, and that one is in there for a strike. Rangers have on a number of occasions this year showed some real good fight in the late innings. And Odor shoots this one out to left field. Canna is there. This, though, as we pointed out last inning, not the team you want to wait on. It does not pay to hold back to the late innings. One away. And here is Elvis Andrus. Elvis has grounded out all 3 times. There's a lot of company tonight. The Rangers with just 3 hits. One and one. Kelly is the 3rd pitcher of the night for Oakland. The Rangers used 3 pitchers tonight, and a liner caught at third. Chapman timed that leap perfectly to take one away from Elvis Andrus. 2 away.
Elvis a little bit out in front of that one, hit it toward the end of the bat. Didn't really have the sound of a hard hit ball. Chapman had a little bit of time to gauge that one. You can see how he gets set to be ready for the ball hit his way. Everybody does that a little bit differently. Some guys do it like a tennis player getting ready to receive a serve. Some guys just stand with their legs comfortably apart, bend over. But it's kind of an interesting thing. If you come to the ballpark, it's something you'd never notice unless you take the time to look. Watch what each fielder does right when the pitcher gets ready to let go of the ball. You certainly can't just stand there and wait. You have to be in position and say to yourself that this ball is coming my way, and anticipate it coming your way so that you're ready when it does. Probably not too many young little leaguers listening tonight, Dave, but for all those slow pitch softball players out there, that might help you.
Yeah, we probably lost a little league demo tonight. Yeah, that's a good point. It's also a good point, though, about fielders and the positioning, just getting ready as the pitch is delivered. Slow ground ball, right side of the infield. Lowry circles it and makes the play. Well, the Rangers go quietly in the 9th. Kelly finishing it off. A 9-0 Oakland win in the opener. So a pretty impressive outing by one of the hottest teams in baseball, and they take the opening game of this 3-game series. Now Dana Larson, Mike Bassick, and Mark McLemore will have some of the player reaction and breakdown from this one tonight. For Tom Grieve, Leslie McCaslin, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. More coverage of this Rangers game coming up right after this.